What's up, everybody? How's everybody doing tonight? Unfortunately, Billy's still out taking care of some personal business right now, so hopefully he'll be back next week, I believe. But I do have a wonderful guest coming on tonight. I kind of reached out to him last minute, but thank God that he was able to get everything figured out to come out and hang out with us tonight. So, without further ado, here we go. Scott Bowman. Hello? Uh-oh. Can you hear me? I can't hear you, sir. You got something muted, maybe? Anyways, give him a minute to figure it out. No, sir. Nothing. Still nothing. I apologize. Yeah, no, you're completely unmuted. Check go to your settings on StreamYard there and make sure you got whatever microphone you had added to it. Sorry, guys, a little technical difficulties here. How's everybody else doing tonight? Hopefully everybody's having a great, wonderful Monday here as we're starting to, I wouldn't even say set into the fall anymore because it's getting cold quick. I don't even know if we're going to have a fall this year again. So that's kind of disappointing. Kind of disappointing for sure. Hopefully he'll get it figured out here. If not, we'll mumble through just like I always do. Hey, Dustin, how are you? John, Ray, David, Greg, Justin, Jamie, Super Dave, John, everybody else. Hope I didn't forget somebody, but if I did, I'm sorry. I apologize. Thank you for coming and hanging out with us tonight. So, I don't know. Scott's trying to figure it out right now. Trying to figure out what's going on. What's up? Straight from summer to winter. I know it feels like it. It really sucks. I at least wanted to have a little bit of a fall. My tree outside is like one of my favorite trees because it goes from green to red. And then it stays red for, at least a week or two. And then goes to bare. Well, this year, it literally, I think I got like a day of red and then all the leaves fell off. It was disappointing. Wanted to go to Rutgers. Yeah, I wanted to go to Rutgers really bad myself as well, but unfortunately, it's not going to happen this year. Between the new job and just not having time off and waiting until last minute to try to book the flights, which was pretty stupid on my part. Obviously, it was just the tickets were way too high, and I can't afford it right now. So. Not with me trying to put my Tahoe back together, so a lot of my focus is going to be heading towards that. Well, we got Christmas coming. I got the grandbaby and wife and daughter and everybody else to buy for. So it is what it is. Just a bad time of year. Hopefully next year I'll have it pre-planned out and it won't be as bad. So most definitely. Poor Scott. Give him a couple minutes here. I'm not kicking you out. I'm just going to kick you to the sideline just for a second while you work on it. So you don't feel like you're under pressure here. I can still see you down below. You're good to go. But just when you get it all figured out, just give me a nod and I'll bring you back in. So how's everybody else doing? Anybody else got any plans coming up for the next couple weeks or whatnot? I do have a toy drive coming up on December 10th. It's a toy drive that Beer Based Mafia and a lot of the local basic guys that did around here for years and years and years, and I just was so graciously able to kind of help step in and take it over when a little bit of them guys were having other things going on in life and things like that. But we've kind of kept the tradition going, and we still do it every year. I think this is don't quote me, I want to say this is probably like the 10th ninth or 10th year of doing this one that we do. We collect all the toys and we take them down to Children's Mercy and drop them off. It's kind of cool to be able to do that. Just be able to take kids, all the toys down there and just give them to the kids and get help back. And not ask for nothing. So it's good. You figure it out yet, Scott? Let's see. You're muted there. Hang on here. Let me unmute you. Oh, you gotta have to unmute your own mic. You got your mic muted, sir. On your end. Just click down on the bottom of the screen where it shows mic there and just unmute it.
All right. Can you hear me?
There you go. Yes, we can. Yay.
It's funny because I unmuted it a while back and I had to go through settings on my laptop and it did a scan, but said it was fixed. And I kept,
it's silly.
Then it was muted down here, which is crazy. Yeah. And then I unmuted it and this time it worked.
Well, that's good. Good. Glad it worked out. So how are you, sir? How are you?
And I'm just surviving.
Yeah? Working your butt off?
Oh, yeah.
So you're going to Ruckus, huh?
Yeah. It'll be the first time that truck's been to Ruckus. I think it's 2020, 2019.
I
would say no when the salts first came out because I had the salt 12Ks and went to Sundown and Ruckus. Yeah.
I've never been able to actually see your truck, so I got a little disappointed. I was going to go this year. Whatever.
It was a get back in it. I bugged the stereo shop to sell it to me. It sat in the back of the shop. And I was like, I want to get back into it. And I've always had imports. Like I had my Nissan Sentra, 1212s, 12 amp, 7 battery, or 13 amp, 7 batteries. Then I had another Nissan with a Memphis build in it. I wanted something with a V8.
Yeah. I can understand
could possibly go faster than 30 miles an hour up a hill. But they sold it, and I didn't think I was going to still have this truck and I'd still be doing it because I just pop in, pop out. But it just has that grip on you.
It does. It's hard to get rid of. Once you get started, it's like, nah, I'm not going to stop. I'm not going to stop anytime soon. I think the only thing that would ever stop me from this is probably a financial deficit or God himself.
Yeah. Yes.
Probably, to be honest with you, I think that would be probably the only two things that would ever stop me from doing this. So, I don't know. And then I also seen that you was if I'm correct, you was accepted to Team Sundown.
Yeah.
And then also on to Team Elite.
Yeah. I think it's
you're making big steps here, Bob.
I didn't even know it. No, I was kidding.
Right? That's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. I was like, wow, look at all this. That's pretty cool to see it all. Congratulations on both of them for sure.
Thank you.
There were some pretty cool accomplishments to be able to do, especially getting on Team Sundown. That's a hard one.
Is it?
That's a hard one. Yeah, you have to be somebody to get on Team Sundown. I'll tell you that right now.
Okay.
I'll tell you that right now. To get on Team Sundown, you got to be somebody.
Well, I was definitely one of the very first people to have Jacobs Nightshades version 1s. And when I bought that Blazer, which Tahoe, same thing, for whatever reasons, I told myself years before that I'll never do another Burt box. And then that's just what I did, a 218 Burt box. And I think Jacob back then had just the 3000 and the 1500s, I think. And he was coming out with a 2000. I was still working at a stereo shop, the last stereo shop I worked at, which was a place called Sound Decisions. Okay. Did a Burt box, and it never made it out of the driveway. I just was asking myself, I went through all this for something that's not musical. And then I took a guy to buy Jacob's truck. It had four REMT 18s and a fourth order. And I said, that's what I want. I want something like this. And then gave Jacob back all my stuff and then got 12 SA12s and 6 2000s. And that really kind of kicked it off.
Right.
And Mr. Chris Taylor, Sam Dunn, John,
Yeah.
how y'all doing? It's
Good
really
guys
the
there.
first time I can't even believe I figured this out because I was trying to get some orders done today and then figure this thing out because I've never used this camera before.
Right, right.
And I'm very technologically challenged on computer stuff.
You know,
But what's that?
I said I just keep pecking away until I figure it out.
Yeah, or I bug my wife.
But yeah, my wife or my daughter, like, come help me with this damn thing before I break it. That happens a lot too, as well.
But I did the 12/12s, and it's funny because Jared Gibson was talking about when he was like, I think 16. He was over at my house, and we were in my driveway, and I didn't have any seats. We were just sitting on the floor playing it, and his laptop screen, every time the bass hit, would turn white. And
That's badass.
that made it through about one season, and it destroyed windshields every time I played it. No matter if I played music or burp, sealed, it just something about that center port, and I guess that frequency in that truck. Yeah, it just killed it, and I was so frustrated that I was about to give it back up. And then I was like, well, let me try lesser subs and be louder. Let me try something different. And actually, I wanted to do 615s. So I had, that's back when Jacob used to have like the pre-order, and we seen like a mock-up of what the Nightshade 2 was going to be like. He had no idea how deep it was going to be. All I knew was a 12 spoke basket. He sent me one. Back then, I didn't like inverting subs, even though I did them for other people. And so I wanted to do my very first wall, which was back in 94, 95, was 6 JLs and my little Nissan Sentra. Kind of like what JP had with 2 on the side, up and down, 2 in the middle, up and down, and it kind of wrapped around. But on the sides, I didn't want the magnet to hit the back of the box. So I was kind of like, man, I don't know what to do. And I was like, I can do them all side firing, but I've never seen anybody do it. And, but on paper, back when, on paper, drawing out pages and pages of
Yeah, I
stuff, which
remember back then.
I don't even remember how to do stuff like that anymore because I don't do it anymore. But,
The things you
on,
forget, you've got.
yeah, on paper, everything looked good. And then I had the box like done. And all I did was I reused my shell like 3 times. Like the 18s, I cut it out, had a shell, put 12/12s in, cut that out. And even when I was at Sundown and they were putting my subs in for me, I said, look, you can still see the outline of the 12/12 box from 2010, 2010,
Right.
or 2009, 2010, something like that. But anyway, we didn't get the subs till I think December 1st of 2011. I drove up, picked them up, brought them back. Still waiting on NS1s. They came in 2 weeks before 2012 SBN. Got those put in, got it playing. And every time I was shaving my port, I was gaining. The windshield broke. But the first thing was it was already louder out the gate than the 12/12s was.
Right.
The windshield didn't break. And I was like, this is a plus all the way around. So the bigger the port was, the louder it got. When the windshield broke, I literally stopped. And when you see that aluminum tape on the side of the port, that's from 2 weeks before SBN. I got a windshield put in, I left it, drove all the way down there like that.
Right. Heck
and the
yeah.
rest is how it is. Didn't, I was hoping music was a bonus, but I was in Super Street and the Burt thing, and that was my main focus. And then somebody had a video of me and my friend Nick. He was on our team at the time, and the first time I turned up, played music, and I was looking over at him, and I was like, "Holy cows, it plays music pretty damn good," And I was like, "Man, this is a bonus."
Right.
And then I was demoing after, qualifying and all that. And I don't know, but I still got it. It's been a good truck.
It's pretty bad. Yeah, I got lucky on a build like that earlier. I built it for music, and it actually burped really well too as well. So it was kind of a plus. It was kind of the opposite of what you had, but it was pretty cool. Hey
Yeah.
Justin, thank you sir. Got Jared in the house and Charlie. What up, guys? How are you guys doing tonight? Uh, now in here to listen to you, man. They want to pick your brain, see what's going on. You got any new products coming out? Anything new and cool and fancy coming out?
Who? Me?
Yeah.
No, man. I'm not creative like some of these new guys. I'm just like, wow. How do you think of doing some of this stuff? Even coming up and having I guess the CNC and the laser
Yeah.
engravers and stuff. I'm like, see, it's stuff like that. I'd have to hire Jared Gibson for like a weekend to come down. He'd probably be pissed because I just don't get it. I'm just like that old guy that I can just do stuff with my hands.
Jared's smart. He's smart on that shit. But yeah,
Yeah,
I
he
don't know.
is.
I still love that very first cut box that I got from you that was painted that I had in my nitro. That was probably I want to say that was like the second or third actual steel painted box I had seen you make, and I was
Oh
like,
my
oh,
gosh.
that thing
Was
was
it
badass.
was it real paint or was
It
it spray
was real
can or
paint.
was it powder coat?
No, no, it was real. I'm pretty sure it was real
Was
paint.
it purple?
No, it was green.
Could have been.
It was for my Dodge Nitro when I had that shit.
You're
That
gonna
was
pull out a picture.
man. You're gonna make me try to fuck. It take me too long to go dig through my pictures, but it's on my Facebook. But yeah, it was. Man, I'm trying to think of what year it was. I'd say probably 16, 17, somewhere around there,
Wow.
maybe.
You
I don't
know,
know. It's been such a long time. I mean, fuck.
I used to have my original, God, I think it was from 99 or 2000. And when the
See,
Hurricane Florence came, we had like this crew of people that gutted our house, and we lost over 90+% of our stuff because there was just mold and water. But I think that was gone because it was sitting in the garage on the chest freezer
yeah.
amongst a
And
bunch
somebody
of other
probably threw
stuff.
it away, not knowing what it was.
I had a Rockford Cemetery from the 90s with the 14 band
Oh,
chip upgrade, and I don't know where that's at. That probably got thrown away, or somebody like, hey,
yes, somebody
this
probably.
thing's cool. I
This is
think I know what
trash.
this is, and this is going home with me.
Right?
But you know, it is what it is.
Yeah. No, we had talked. I don't know, and he was initially just. I initially just wanted it to be black, and he was like, "Well, hey, I'm starting this new whole color paint design thing," and you're like, "If you wouldn't mind, I'd like to paint it for you." And I was like, "All right, bet." And I
Cool,
told you what my colors were, and told you it was green, and poof, next thing I know, I got it. I was like, "That's badass." And
awesome.
the best part about it is it still works to this day. No
Wow,
issues, no problems, no nothing. It's mounted. It's still mounted in the back of the Nitro. And the
holy
gentleman that bought my
smokes!
Nitro is still using it to this day with no issue.
Can this go in like a museum? We'll pick it up and we'll like.
Oh, I know. I told him. I said, I would, if you ever get rid of it, I want it back. But it's I mean, the Nitro is a 160 build all the way through, and it's
That's
been that
awesome.
way probably at least for the last 4 or 5 years. So it's been beat the shit out of for 4 or 5 years, and not one issue out of it at all.
Wow. Yeah, man. I remember the first time I painted anything. I was at a place called Sound. I worked at two stores that started with sound. This one was Soundtronics, and we rented a house. And the couple, they were just the best landlords we ever had.
Mhm.
They owned the whole block,
Oh, that's
and
badass.
each house had a detached garage, but it had an apartment above it. And at one time, I had an old lady that lived upstairs, and she complained about the compressor, even if I opened the garage door. But the owner had his realty business, which was attached to my building. So I could open the door and walk right in and never bought. Mr. Gaddy never complained. But anyway, the guy I worked with in the back, he had a Mustang and he wanted me to to paint his hood. So on the Snap-on truck, he bought like a cheap, I think it was like a Sharp paint gun. I knew nothing of it.
Right.
And we bought some, I think it was single stage metallic blue, and I think we sprayed the whole damn thing on there. I didn't know how much to spray to set up the gun. And
Right.
it looked like hell when we took it outside, but then a friend of ours wet sanded and buffed it, and it looked like $1,000,000, but the whole floor was blue, and I was worried I wasn't going to get my deposit back when we moved out, but they were cool. I
Yeah.
tried cleaning it.
No, I know. And then you started out with them stripper poles and painting them and all that other stuff. And I was like, wow, you're just on point with everything now. I mean, just on point.
Those first ones, like the ones that are still on my truck, ooh, those were kind of hideous.
Yeah.
Those were those were those are rudimentary, but the ones in my truck, they literally go through the whole box outside, and the up and down one goes literally down through the box outside on the subframe, and it's bolted, like you can see it outside, and then through the box on the top with some C channel. And that's what makes it tough. No one wants to put subs in this truck or take it out. I don't blame them. It's terrible. It's in the way.
Right.
And I don't have the will to go in there and take all that stuff out to put like a newer version that it would come out. But yeah, just I don't know, just
I'm definitely gonna have to hit you up because I'm in the process of redoing my whole build. So I'm gonna need a new cot box and probably some. I don't know if I'm gonna need poles or not. We'll see. Poles are a maybe. We're doing it out of a steel cage, so hopefully I won't have to worry about too much flex.
yeah. I've had
So,
people with steel cages just have them just for looks, but if you got a steel cage, you probably don't need it anyway.
well, I'm hoping I can get rid of 99.9% of all that, but if need be, I'll definitely know who to reach out to. But yeah, I
Mr.
definitely
Derek
want to.
Hudson and Patrick Anderson. Thank you, sir.
Mr. Sam Dunn said, "What's your daily paint gun you would prefer to use now?"
What I use,
Mm-hmm.
my mostly what I use, I was told years ago when I started working at Audio Express in the early 90s by the head installer at the time, I was just, I thought I knew everything
Mm-hmm.
until I worked at a shop and you actually had to do something right and had to get it done in a matter of time. And, everybody's like, well, I do all my friends' stuff and I'm the same way. But anyway, uh, was always telling me to don't go on the tool trucks. And that was one of the few things I really did and got in debt, but snap on. But, I have a Segola Mini Extreme, and that's pretty much what I use. I have a lot of expensive guns, but they're full size guns, and I hardly use them because I don't paint big stuff. When I did James Bale's podium, I broke out my trophy truck, which is another Segola, and I forgot how good that gun was. And then I've got some DeVilbiss and oh god, some Iwatas. There's a lot of stuff, but you can get these Chinese knockoffs. I still have some. I don't even use them anymore, and they spray fantastic. You don't have to have an expensive gun, but when it starts leaking and you need parts, because those Chinese parts have like little rubber seals and thinners, when you clean out your guns, will wear them out after a while. That's when they become crappy.
You just can't find parts for them.
So when you buy something nice, it usually lasts a long time. I used to have a couple that I used to do work for, and I used to do their stereos in the earlier 2000s, mid 2000s, and we would go to shows together. I never charged them. Whenever I need something for my car, he owned a place called Clutch Connection. It's been out of business for years, but it's like brakes, clutches. He would come over and fix my car and do it, wouldn't charge me. So that was kind of like our thing. But the solder rep had gave him an RP Digital, which was the Mac Daddy back in the day, and it just sat, and I didn't use it for a long time. I actually sold that to, I can't remember his name, because when you need parts, those damn things are like a Mercedes Benz, because it's like the parts are like a brand new gun.
$100 for a gasket.
Oh yeah, like a kit. You got to buy the whole kit for one part. You can't just buy the part. You got to buy the whole kit.
Absolutely. Was that
And it's literally hundreds of dollars. But
Mr. Dan Kerr's going to Ruckus this weekend, was what I heard.
Yeah, DeVilvis. I got 3 DeVilvises. I have a very old one I use for certain primers. It's an old FLG 2. I've got a Pro Light, and I got a DVR. What was it? DV1S.
DV1S.
Also, yeah. But
no,
it's like an addiction, like buying tools, man. It's crazy, and I had to stop because I'm like, I can't justify I'm not making that kind of money to justify. It's just kind of like buying something off the tool truck, and you bought it because it was cool and you wanted it.
Cool,
it's in your toolbox, and you might use it once or twice, you know. But when I did that guy's Tahoe, and I did fiberglass the whole roof, beauty panels, that's when you have to use a big gun. That's when I use the big guns. And these glasses actually are just cheap cheater glasses. And when I do a lot of clear, these things will fog up, and I'm cleaning them multiple times, and then have to throw them away because you get where you can't clean them anymore. And like use like a lacquer thinner, it will literally, these things will fall apart.
It'll eat that.
Like in your hands, literally. Because that's about the only thing get them off. Get off the overspray. But anyway, just like painting them speaker cones I did last week, or whenever I did just recently, that's like concave, so it's blowing right back up in your face.
Oh yeah, trying to
Constantly.
get all the sweet edges and everything else into there. Yeah,
and you're like, please don't run, please don't run, please don't run. But nah, man, it's just
the myth, the man, the legend himself.
I just I need a damn job working for somebody.
Yeah. Gosh. We like you right where you're at, sir.
Man, my little hole in the wall in the back. That's where I'm at 7 days a week. But
yeah, you know, it's funny because I hear so many people that do, you know, what you do and like what you do say that they'd rather work for somebody, and it's people like me that's worked for people all my life. It's like, man, I'd rather be working for myself. And it's like, you know, I understand because, you know, we do base wars on the side, and it's like I don't never have a free weekend at all. So I mean, I never have any time off. So I definitely understand that part and that piece of it behind it. But it's like, man, I don't know. Sometimes it'd still just be nice to be your own boss. I mean, if you don't want to get up until 11 o'clock, you go to work at 11. You know, granted, you might have to work a little bit later that night, but you know what? It's your own decision to make that. You know, it's like you can't be mad at nobody because you didn't make the money that week. You can only be mad at yourself.
Yeah.
You know, so it's like, I don't know. Sometimes it's like, I really wish I could just do it and be done with it.
Yeah. It's nice though if you had a job and you can have weekends off. I work 7 days a week. I can't sit still. I'm not Chris Lee, active and motivated.
Boy.
I don't possess that power, that ability. I have to have like lots of caffeine or 5-hour energies or something.
Yeah, no, I mean, I don't know. I work Monday through Friday. I have the weekends off, but I do base wars on the weekends. So,
So you're constantly on all the time too.
yeah, literally from November to I'd say end of January, I actually have a break. But when I say I have a break, we still have pretty much a show a month. So I still I get a couple weeks off here and there, but but during the summer, I mean it's every weekend. Every weekend I have a show. Every weekend,
You know
sometimes
what?
two shows a weekend.
What was cool about working at least at what I did, like some of my friends that paint cars, they get the best hookups because they'll do something for somebody and they'll get a free car that the person doesn't want to fix and they know how to fix it. Kind of like I would get CD players and I could fix them. I'd put in new CD players and I go, "What do you want to do with this one?" And they say, "Throw it in the trash," and I would put it on my bench and order parts and fix it. And amplifiers back when they were simpler. Uh, and I don't even remember how to do anything like that really, but anymore. But just getting stuff and fixing it and turn around and selling it. Somebody's always giving you something or do a trade.
Yeah, absolutely.
Um, um, Doing stuff for the movie studios, and like some of the stuff I did for the movies, and then I'd get a tip, and I'd get paid, and I'd get my tank full of gas from one of their fill-up vehicles,
Right.
or for like some of the surf reps, get free sunglasses, winter jackets, or something. Do some side work. Just
Yeah, absolutely.
crazy.
It's always nice, and I don't know. I learned a long time ago, to always support your friends, and and definitely support
Yeah.
your friends that own their own business. It's not like, hey, can I have a discount? Hey, you're not going to sell that no more. Can I have it so I can wear it so I can provide or show support for you? No, I mean, I dig in my pocket and I support my friends, and I support their business. And it's like Drew, Drew's a good friend of mine. And I don't think Drew's came out with a piece of merchandise that I don't have, a sticker that I haven't bought. And I probably bought 15 fucking designs off of him, but it probably only needed 3 of them. But you know what? I still did it, and I support Drew a lot. Drew's a good friend of mine. So I always believe in supporting friends, and especially don't ask for favors like Hamby was shitting on. Fancy enough, Hamby was shitting on. I think I have damn near every shirt or every damn piece of clothing they've ever came out with. And I've ever asked for nothing free, and I don't want anything for free from anybody or any of my friends. It's like, I don't want that. I don't want a discount. I don't want a cheaper version. I want to pay full price because that's how I'm supporting you and keeping you in business and keeping you happy. And I think that's what more people and more friends should do. If you really want to support your friend's business, pay for his product. Don't ask for a discount. Just pay for his product because that's supporting him and supporting his business.
Yeah. I used to, my manager at Audio Express, when people go, man, give me a free t-shirt. And my manager would say, when they give them to us for free, we'll give them to you for free or something like that.
Yeah.
Many, many years ago. I remember now anybody that was in the car audio stuff industry back in the 90s, definitely 2000s, things changed.
Yeah, late 2000s, or early 2000s.
Early 2000s. But whenever you seen a rep, that meant free t-shirts. And they were always like walk by and they'd throw them to you.
Something,
Yeah.
Yeah,
it was always
absolutely.
that way. And then it got to where, like you said, around probably early 2000s, where, hey man, you got any shirts? Oh man, you can go on a brochure and order them. And then it became, well, you can go online and order them. It's like,
You want a free shirt? Go buy $100 amplifier, then you can get a free shirt. It's like, oh, okay. And then everybody was like, "Oh, well, they're just being selfish." No, they can't give away the stock and barrel.
Costs
It's
money,
like
man.
it does, and people don't understand that. Everybody's not like the bigger companies like Kicker and Sundown and all them. They have a budget set back for merchandise. The smaller businesses don't necessarily say that they have a budget set back for merchandise or can't afford to have a budget for merchandise to just walk around and give away stuff for free. So that really
Yeah.
takes a lot of money out of their own pocket. So it's like, it's not fair. Yeah, Chris
Yeah.
Galloway is the one that has my nitro that actually bought or that has your cock box in the back of the nitro.
Oh, awesome. Awesome.
But yeah, I'm definitely going to have to reach out to you because I'm going to need a new one. I'm going to need one for 4 channels and
Jesus Christ.
8Ks. So I don't know if I want to do 2 boxes. Probably 2 boxes. One for the subs and then one for the 4 channels, I guess.
Are you what amps are you gonna run?
The Crossfire
Be on the
8Ks.
spot.
Crossfire 8Ks.
Man, those are beast amps.
Everything.
Those
Well,
are
I
bulletproof.
had the old version Crossfire 8Ks.
Yeah, those are bulletproof.
I'm not necessarily a fan of the new ones. Sorry.
I
Don't get
know.
mad at me for saying that. I know.
I have friends. Yeah. The old God, what was it? They had the 12 volt, 16 volt version years ago. They were bulletproof. God, they were heavy though.
And that was just like me with the Death Bonds, back in the day. I still love the old AAK ones because them they were beasts. You could just beat the shit out of them amplifiers. The new ones, yeah. I mean, I understand, but still, I like the old stuff a little bit better. Used to come home with a huge bag of free cups, lanyards, shirts, and hats. Boy, you ain't lying. It's funny you say that because upstairs I actually have, I don't know, I have a lanyard collection probably from every audio company or anybody that has anything to do with or audio. At least I think that I do, and I probably have. I'd say probably well over 300 lanyards upstairs hanging
Holy
on hangers.
smokes.
And I mean, seriously, just every audio company, anybody with any audio. If you made a lanyard and you was with audio companies, I probably have it.
Wow. I think I still got some old keychains that Kyle had 3D printed for me years ago, and I forgot all about them. And I found one in my toolbox. It was blue with the rooster on it with the SBC on the side.
And if you got a lanyard, I want it.
I used to have
you'd be one of the only ones that I don't have.
I never had a lanyard made or anything. I remember at one time I had some T-shirts made. Of course, stickers, but T-shirts. I had Mike Singer years ago make me some alternator cover pulley,
Mm-hmm.
the aluminums. I bought like a round of those, and then I still have some epoxy stickers that look like a Ford emblem. How
Okay.
it's like it's rounded. I still got some of those. But holy shit, a 70-year-old grandpa wears. Have you seen my cock? Oh, that's awesome. I remember I had wore that shirt to SBN one year, and Don Richards. I don't think EXO. I know EXO, I believe, was in a picture with me and we were pointing at each other. But somebody after Daytona or Saturday night or Sunday night, some lady complained about my shirt, about kids, and I was like, wow. And then I think Don Richards had said, well, no one's talking about the half-naked strippers walking all around the Civic, the Ocean Center.
Exactly.
These little kids probably can't even read or don't grasp that yet, what that is. I don't know. Maybe a Karen.
Yeah, I'm sure. It was the early form of Karens.
The early form of Karens.com. But yeah, I hadn't been to a show since 2020. I think that's when I got the salts, and that was sundown and
Because see, it's been a while since I've even remotely heard or even seen you in the lanes for a while.
yeah, I stopped in 2017. I just got so tired of the windshields, and it was becoming more frequent because the underneath the windshield is constantly tearing, and you
That's
can fix it, but it's going to find the next spot, and it
that's
just
why
gets
I
weaker
got.
and weaker.
I was on window number 4 or 5 on my Tahoe, and I was just done. And when we pulled the last window off, it pulled off probably 3/4 of the pinch weld off the top of the window when it came off. So I was like, it's time. Steel cage all the way up to the front window. Tie
Yeah.
everything completely in. I'm just done. I'm tired of ripping it. I'm tired of tearing shit up, and I'm gonna leave it. I'm gonna try to leave it from the B pillar forward, everything stock except for the roof. The roof's gonna have the steel cage all the way up to the front window and be tied completely in. But
You're getting a problem.
I'm gonna try to. I know. I'm gonna try to leave the dash and the floorboard and the seats and everything in there normal. But we'll see. We'll see how it works.
Gosh. And what's this? What vehicle is this going to be in again?
It's a '07 Tahoe.
07 Tahoe. You probably said it. My memory's just
It's all good.
okay. So I'm thinking of the latches on those. When Chris had the Yukon, I still plated his floor, and
Oh,
that
they weren't
made
infamous for making things.
him start breaking hinges because it was like looking for the weakest spot, and it was the doors after that. And I'd still played the roof too, and then we did the 16-pound foam to fill in his sunroof.
Yeah. Luckily, I don't have a sunroof. I don't have to worry about that part. But no,
Yeah, that's always a killer.
it's going to start from the steel cage is going to start from the front window, go all the way back, down, up, and around. So it's going to be one solid steel cage.
Cool.
Most of the time, I would say, well, let me rephrase it. With the old build, I played with the doors open. I demoed with both doors wide open. Whether or not it was louder with the doors closed, it probably was, but it broke windows a hell of a lot easier that way. So it's easier to leave the doors open because I didn't break shit. So that made it easier back then. So I don't know. I can't. Hopefully, I get to the point where I can actually stop tearing shit up. I mean, I know it's not going to happen because then if I stop tearing shit, I'm not allowed no more. And then I have to do something to fix that.
If when nothing moves in the cab, when it's extreme, that's when you move, and everybody's getting a demo.
Pretty much.
I don't even sit in my truck anymore. I won't sit in Chris's after they finish what I started and still played the floor in the van and did the dash and all that. And Justin came and did the windshield and all that.
Mm-hmm.
And he was trying to get me to listen to it. I heard it right up to that point. And I was like, nah, that
I said it last year.
enough.
I said it last year at sundown.
Yeah.
I crawled in there and sit in there. I didn't go over the hump, but I crawled in there and sit in there. I sit next to the hump and let him turn it up, and he's pretty nasty. It's pretty.
Oh yeah.
Nasty. And I heard it's
stuck
even
my
worse
head in
now.
there a couple months ago, and that was enough.
I heard it's even worse now with the new subs and everything. I heard it's just came alive. So
yeah,
I'm actually kind of psyched to hear it. He wanted me to come to Ruckus because I think he's trying to headhunt me.
he's wanting to make an example out of you, probably.
Well, it's because I don't tap very easy, but in that same sense, I'm not stupid either, and I'm not going to go crawling over his wall or going to sitting up inside Carlos Rodriguez's van or something like that. I'm not stupid,
Nah,
but I don't tap either.
Well, man, I've been saying for some years, I think all this base in future, they're going to figure out it's going to be like the guys in football taking all these shots to the head. Because when I first did the 615s, I was sitting people on the driver's side on that stool. I was in the passenger side with that window rolled up, and I was getting it. I
You
was
just take you
catching
the hot seat, your own
so,
self.
and I remember my ribs would hurt, and then I would feel dizzy sometimes. And that back then, that was only like high 62s.
Yeah.
So what's it? Of course, now that truck's the loudest it's ever been, but like with stuff out there now, and people constantly sitting in it,
What are you hitting
you
in
know,
your truck now?
I really don't know anymore.
Yeah. You
It
haven't
was
just thrown the meter in there just to see?
the windshield brake. Um, when I had the NS2s and the NS3s was almost at a 65 back to back. And then with the NS2s, that's when the Nightshade 4s, the Neos came out. And it's weird because when I switched those amps kept going in protect. And I would mess with that truck. I'd figure it out. Well, at least I thought I figured it out. And then the next time I drove it and played it, start doing it again to find out, yeah, so those amps had some problems. And then when I got the 12Ks, I know Chris was trying to get me to do something, but we did clamp it. It did do. Gosh, I know I clipped the shit out of it. I know it did like 26,000 on the each 12K, but I know I clipped it because that was from the old settings of my NS2s.
Right.
I just don't really. You care, but I just don't care. It's not a thing. I can't afford to go out there and do that like I used to.
And that's it. It's kind of funny you said that because I always thought I'd want to know. I want to know. I want to know. And then last year when I was it last year or the year before when I bought that Tahoe, I was like, I don't care no more. I don't care. It's a decent demo build, and that's all that I want to do with it. That's all I want to do is I just want to sit around and demo and play music all day, and and then Bass Wars, we got to have music classes in there, so that makes me want to know. It's like, okay, well, it's finally a music class, so I can go in there and play some music and just let it go, and then like I didn't meter it at all. And last year, right before I got ready to tear it apart, it was my last show in October. It was my final, or the day after. Sorry, it was the final show. I literally put it on the meter just to see what it would do. And I did a 150, 157 point something, but I was down 2 subs and 1 amplifier. And I literally it just blew apart the front windshield right before I stuck it on the meter. So I mean the window was broken. I was down 2 subs, but to do a 157 on a 30-second musical average at 38 hertz was pretty fun. And I was like,
Gosh,
yeah,
you
this
remember
is
like
fun still.
back in the day with like Pipo Sanchez, um, Frankie Rio, and all them when people were
Yeah.
doing like the 59.9 base race,
Yes.
you
Yes.
know, and that was insane then. Not to think now that there's, of course
People
they're
in the
extreme,
60s,
but
70s.
they're that if you could go back in time, I mean, we all could say that. If I go back in time with shit, what I have now, I go back in 96 or say 95 when I was up against Tim Maynard in the Terminator Blazer, and he was the loudest at a 160.3, I think, or 4,
Right.
with the AC meter.
Yeah, yeah, boy. I'd love to put my vehicle on that old meter. I'd probably blow the meter away.
Gosh. They said back when Emma Gates that they had to put sandbags on her Bronco because she was like knocking over the mic stand for the
For
meter.
my staff, yeah. We have a we have a class that is a foot out the window, and we literally measure it from a foot out the window. And we have vehicles that are literally blowing the mic stand over a foot outside the
Wow.
window. Yeah,
All
seriously.
right. I've had this idea. I hit up now I can't even think of his name. God, I've known him for so many years. Fred Wright of NSPL.
Uh-huh.
I hit up Wayne at DB Drag, This was probably back in 2014. And I think it's because like Jared had the Jeep, and Jared was at the time, to me, no one else had lows like that. And I think that drove a lot of people to go that. I was the guy that had the high base killing, getting people tensing up, tapping out, and people are going that way. And he was getting people to. So I had this idea because more people were starting to do, more lower frequency builds. And I said, man, what if you had a wind meter that plugged into like the Term Lab?
Wayne
And this
had
way
one
you've got your demo guys, you got your burp guys, but then you got the guys to see how much force you got coming out of your truck.
wind meter, yeah.
That way it would show up on the graph as your DB and also your wind speed. And they
Wayne
both
had one
liked it, but
at one point in time.
it's almost like, thank you for your idea. But, I was thinking, man, with the times, the way things were going, I think that would have been a big,
Well, it's funny because I believe Wayne or somebody else actually did come out with that meter there for a long time, but they got rid of it because it was it wasn't really accurate. It was hard to calibrate it. It was hard to keep it accurate at one point in time. I can't remember who it was, but somebody had that at one point in time. Just like somebody that came out with a meter that was made for just mids and highs as well, for like the stunt walls and things like that. So I mean, I've heard of several different things like that, but I agree. I think that would be kind of fun. But it's like Billy went and made classes for all the different. Like we have a class that goes from 0 to 19, and then it just kind of just goes all the way up to 40 to 60 hertz. So we kind of have classes for even the real windy guys, or we have classes for the people that just want to hurt you.
It would be kind of neat though to see what kind of like could be categorized like a hurricane or a tornado, F1 or a category.
It would.
Some of these guys are just from the videos anyway. It looks pretty insane.
Yeah, I've seen some of the videos around like Matt Brown's build. That thing is just amazing. Last time I got to sit in that thing last year, I mean, it was windy as hell, and I guess it's even double what it was now. And I mean, that thing is pretty nasty. So if you get a chance, you're going to Ruckus, right?
Yeah.
If you go sit in Matt Brown's or go sit in Steven Duncan's vehicle, either one of them two, I'm telling you, complete windy nastiness. I promise you, go sit in either one of them two's vehicle, and you'll definitely understand.
Gosh, I hadn't sat in Steve since 2020.
That was probably when he had the truck still, right?
No, he had the van. He had the Nightshade 3s.
Did he have the van then?
100-pounders, 105-pounders, yeah. Which is now, to me, it looks just like the motor of the new X7 or Z7. Sorry.
Yeah. Well, he's rocking his own subs now, the SNDs.
I didn't know that. I'm just so out of it, man. I'm just.
Well, yeah, they're. It's funny because Jacob basically made a version of subs for Steven Duncan because he keeps blowing everything. So
yeah,
he kind of made
those Nightshade 3s.
Yeah, he made like some really bigger motor forces, epoxy cones, just bigger all around everything. And they call them the SNDD ends or something like that.
I've heard of them, but I didn't know that's what those were from.
Yeah, they're designed because of Steven Duncan. Duncan dollars right there, as we always say. The SNDDs. Yeah, SDDN, sorry. But yeah, that's funny.
My virus is always saying suspicious connection blocked.
Steven,
when I tried to go on, this is off top, just still car audio that made me think of something. Is whenever I go on Ed's site, Sparked Innovations, my virus software hates that. It's always trying to get me to not go on there. And it's so, I don't know if anybody else had this problem, but it's so slow. It takes forever to try to navigate through his site. It's always been that way. And I don't know if it's the virus software I'm using. It's just weird.
I haven't
It's always
really been
popping
on.
up like it's crazy.
No, that's I haven't really been on his site very much. Haven't really bought
Mr.
a whole
Bryant,
bunch.
hello, sir. Um, I remember Ed
China
in
site.
car audio magazines with the spaz glasses. And he had the glasses with the tape in them, and he would act like a spaz or something like that.
Yep.
It was a sad day when the 2008 came and all these companies, car stereo magazines, which I still have stacks of them somewhere. Because can't be a magazine you can pick up at any time and look at it. It's there. It's pretty cool.
The bad part about it is I say it all the time. As much as it's helped, the internet has ruined everything.
Oh,
it really
gosh.
has. I mean, it has
It's been
changed
a
everything.
godsend, but it's like really bad.
That's why I said as much as it's helped, it's also ruined. And I don't know, it demoralizes anything anymore. It's like things are just not worth what they used to be because of the internet. And it's besides you get all these people that want to run their mouth over the keyboard and because they can do it on the computer and they never have to see you face to face. But it's like,
oh yeah,
I don't know, the internet is just, it's turned us all into a bunch of lazy pussies. Pardon my language, but it's turned us all into a bunch of lazy pussies anymore. And
a lot of them don't want to have to do the work to figure something out or go through learning something. They just want to be shown how to do it.
I'll get on the internet and Google it. It'll show me how to do it.
Exactly.
I don't need a degree. Sam.
I remember when I first started installing, if there was something new, we didn't have a computer to tell us how to
No,
to
you
show
had
us
to
how
go
to do
get on
anything.
Crutchfield or go look on the old
There was
forums.
nothing. Yeah, you just had to figure it out, and hopefully you didn't screw it up, and they could drive away.
Get on the phone with the 1-800 number and call the plant and be like, "Hey, I did this, this, this," and they're like, "Well, hey, dummy, you need to do this, this, and this," and you're like, "Okay, well, hang on, let me try that." And it's back-to-back phone conversations. Yeah.
I would write stuff down sometimes so I wouldn't forget, like if it was something. But
yeah. Forum days, yeah, the forum days were fun too. Well,
gosh,
I better shut up.
What,
I'm showing my age. I'm showing my age. I better shut up. Boy, it was fun.
I remember I had a friend that used to come over, and he was always in his work truck, so they had a computer as in their work truck.
Right.
And I always remember the Catco thing. It had the guy with the speakers. And when I would go to work next day, I was like, it was some car audio thing. I've never seen it before. I can't remember what it was called. And I'd try to word it. And this was back when we were at Soundtronics. Guys, we were still on dial-up.
Oh.
And it was just so slow. I could never figure it out. But then years later, that's when I figured out it was Catco. And it was kind of fun. You had topics and all that.
Yeah.
God, I even think back then, was Hank trolling people back then too?
Oh, yes. Yes, he was. Yes. Hank was trolling people back then. Yes. He God, really was.
He's the OG of trolling.
He really is.
Hank
started trolling.
Someone make Hank Veach an OG troller. OGtrollers.com or something. I don't know. Not a porn site.
The original trollers, Hank.com. Exactly. Well, it would be between him and fucking damn it, I can't even think about what's his damn. It's right on the tip of my damn tongue now. Oh, the other guy of everyday car audio. They don't even do it no more. Damn it, it's right on the tip of my tongue. Not Brett, but the other guy.
You're talking to a guy that forgets stuff all the time.
Man, damn it. It's literally right there on the tip of my damn tongue, and I can't think of his damn name. Skip. Yeah, not Skip. T-Fade. There it is. Yes, T-Fade. Taylor. Yes. He was another one of them. Taylor was another one that
Taylor
quickly.
Fade or
Yeah.
whatever. I remember. Man, he break knowledge on people.
He would, but he was a quick. Everybody used to say he was a jerk. He wasn't necessarily a jerk. He was just very technical, and he knew he was right, and he didn't give a fuck if you knew it or not. But this is what he was going down.
Gosh.
Smart as fuck. Taylor is smart. I'm telling you, he's real smart.
Yeah.
The man knows his shit. Oh, here we are, definitely showing our age now. What the hell is wrong with us? What the hell is wrong?
Let me scroll up.
Oh, okay. So, any of you guys got any questions you'd like to ask Scott? I mean, I know we don't probably get to talk to him as much as we all like to.
Yes, I did do porn in my younger days. I've that's why you've never seen it. This
I
is
wish
my
they still did. I wish they still did everyday car audio. You know, honestly, the funny part about it is because of them stopped doing everyday car audio. I think that's the whole reason me and Billy started doing this 4 years ago. We was like, well, fuck, we don't have nothing else to do, and we were just sitting around one night, and I was like, since Skip and Taylor Fade don't do everyday car audio anymore, I said we got to do something just to give people something to watch. And fuck, 4 years later, here we are, still doing it. Still boring the hell out of you guys, but you guys still watch us, so I appreciate it.
To Sam Dunn. Let me.
Any thoughts on a double windshield?
Yeah, I was gonna try to comment, but as again, I don't know how to go about that now that I got this window popped up and I don't even see the
Which one are you talking about?
it says chat with us. It won't go away now, but so I can't see the feed. But yeah, it'd be nice, but I just can't fork out that kind of money. Chris Lee said he might be able to make one. He was over yesterday, and I know he had made Kerry one. I know he had made him and our friend Rick had made one for his van back in the day. But it would be nice because I know that thing's going to go at Ruckus. I hadn't even full tilted this truck since I got these subs. I've only played it 3 times.
Do you have the NSV6s in there?
Yeah.
Oh. I'd love to see the damn thing, man. I really would.
It's old scratchy. It's got war scars all over the damn box. I wish I could go back and make it pretty. I just ain't got time. I don't have the I don't know what you say.
The
giddy up
ambition.
and go and wanting to do it.
You're like, fuck it, it's loud, but I don't care.
I like to paint the truck. I've never done anything like that. I've done hoods, bumpers, and stuff, but never.
Maybe it's time to do it an inside and outside paint job, just a complete makeover.
Yeah, if I had a big shop where I could actually have it designated over in a corner and away from everything, I would probably more out to slowly work on it. But it's so full of stuff. It's packed.
You're a busy man because you're making all that fancy shit out there,
Yeah, well, not as busy as I used to be. I guess everybody's like, hey, that's cool. I think I'll do that. I think I'll make that. Now the market's kind of flooded with everything.
Yeah.
Who knows?
Yeah, unfortunately, it happens sometimes.
Oh, yeah.
But, it's still, I always like to say you still pay for quality. Regardless if you can get it for 50 cents here or you can get it for $20 here, you pay for the quality. You really do, honestly.
Yeah,
white gold pearl.
White gold pearl. What's that? Oh,
white with a gold pearl. That's what Sam's telling you to respray it white with the gold pearl.
White with a gold pearl. I have some gold flake, and I keep white and black in stock because that's the most colors I spray.
Yeah.
I'm actually just sprayed some white a couple of days ago, yesterday, and then before I came in, I shot some darker lime green, and then
Color right there.
I've got some new candies coming in tomorrow. I might make something after Ruckus because I got stuff I'm making to bring to Ruckus for people.
Right.
And then
Speaking of which, talk to him for 1 second. I want to grab something real quick. Sorry. I hate to.
he's gonna grab a dildo. How do I get rid of this damn thing? Damn it, I can't see none of the freaking comments. Well, I wish I could see what you guys are typing. So I could, there we go. God knows. It's like an act of Congress.
Sorry, I'm back. Look at this piece that my buddy or my teammate made for me.
Holy shit, that looks good. Gosh, that looks good.
It's a double-sided.
Oh. Wow. I wonder how he did that. Because I bought the kit years ago and I was going to do a guy's baffle with it. And then I just never did. It's probably no good anymore. But to do on both sides.
Yeah, well, it's a.
To have that runoff.
It's driftwood that he used epoxy fill that go around it, and then he went over top of it with a clear. Sorry.
Yeah, some of the stuff that these people do with that stuff is incredible.
It's green and purple. The whole base wars color is badass. That's gonna be my new microphone stand.
You can see like the massive amounts of pearl.
Yeah,
that's just crazy.
That's gonna be my new mic stand. Remember the class I was telling you for the foot outside the car?
Oh yeah,
that's what they're gonna put the mic on.
Oh yeah, the suction cup.
Yeah. So it's just something different to set it apart from everybody else's to make it cool and unique,
And it's so flat and smooth that it will stick.
Most definitely. Sorry, a little out of breath. I ran upstairs to grab it.
Gosh, who used to have it? Was it Mecca that had that little globe? They put the meter and they put it in people's stick panels.
Well, that and DB Drag has it.
Oh,
and USAC uses it too as well.
USAC.
So everybody uses the damn thing.
I remember USAC in the 90s, and I'm not talking about later 90s, like mid 90s, and they frowned upon SPL, all sound quality. And they'd see guys like me come in and they would get my car and I had like no back seat. I just have like a bunch of 12s and you could see them. They would turn their heads, look and shake their heads, and give you like a 0. And I got to where I turned my bass down to where it just had a little bit of rear fill, but my door panels and all that would play. But once they seen subs, they were just like,
yeah, it's done.
This guy's a bass head. He's a crackhead. And now look at how things have. People, weren't coming to see the sound quality guys. They were coming to see the guys that with the boom boom.
Yeah, it's kind of funny. It's still like that now. It's like, you have that one or two people that sits over in the very, 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 very far corner over there that has
Sam
sound quality bill. Still rocking the 6x9s in the doors.
Oh yeah, man. I built those panels to get to 2012 SBN. That was temporary, and they're like permanent now. And I think I've had 4 or 5 pairs of 6x9s in there. But oh gosh, what were we talking about? Was it?
You
I
got the
remember
new
SBN going to SBN, and the sound quality guys would complain about us. And then you walk over to the sound quality guys, there wasn't nobody there. Guy sitting in his car,
all
but
by itself.
everybody was in the crowd looking at all the bass cars.
Mm-hmm. Do you have the new Sundown 6x9s in there?
No, I had the very first versions, and I destroyed the passenger side.
Oh, that's always going to happen.
And then I don't know what happened to it. I took it out, and God, what I put in there? I think a friend of mine was telling.
Uh-oh. Uh-oh.
I was like, and I got a couple of those 6x9s, and they've been holding up. They're actually kind of loud. You know,
Yeah.
I'm not expecting like SQ by no means, but
Yeah,
to
definitely.
cut through the bass a little bit, you know, a little
Yeah.
bit.
You got to see the new 6x9s that he came out with, Jacob. He's
Yeah,
got some nice ones. And you
I
got to
hadn't
throw
even
some
seen
tip in
them because I'm just so out of like with what's going around. I get on Facebook and I float, and
there.
mostly I'm like on PMs, you
Right.
know, trying to sell or somebody's asking, and I'm like bouncing on and off and just in the shop.
I definitely
Um,
understand that for sure. You don't build and sell bundles.
oh man, I'm so burned out. I'm so burned out. I try not to cut any wood at all. I have a table saw and I have a dual router table. Actually, I have a giant, almost 4x8 router table, almost 4x8. And then I had a rolly router table, and I sold that to Bobby Wright upstate. I wish I'd have kept that now because I put it on casters so I can move it around, but I'm just running out of space. But everything in my shop now, it's like the table saw, the router table is all like a work table for paint. It's got paint shit all over it. It's stained. I mean, I've got like dried up paint, clear. It's not flat anymore.
Right.
Now, when I make the radio pods, I have to like move things out, clean it up some, and cut it. But I don't do a lot of wood anymore.
Right.
I like welding. When I did that podium thing, I did the couple weeks back. That was steel going up like a lightning bolt.
I guess I missed that one. I didn't get to see that one. I'll have to go back and look at that to see.
I don't know if I posted on my personal. I just posted it on my SBC thing.
Right. Well, I
And then
follow that as well.
Instagram. I don't post a lot on Facebook. I don't know. I don't know. Sometimes I do stuff, but
Yeah,
I do more on Instagram. And
the problem is to be honest with you, there's not a lot of people that Instagram's about dead anymore, sir.
yeah,
You got the old YouTube, still have Facebook, then you have the Twitter, the Twitch, and all them other thingies like that everybody run around and use anymore. I don't even think, hell, I can't even tell you the last time I've been on Instagram. Shit.
but I like painting because I guess it's something that is somewhat new. It is frustrating at times,
Gotta have a
but
stand for that.
um, but it's just something different. God, I've been shit. My first car stereo was in 1983, and I washed dishes at a place called Big Daddy's in Curie Beach. And I worked there just long enough to go to Radio Shack in town at a place called Longleaf Mall, which is still there, but it's not a mall anymore. And I bought it was like $200 or $300 tape deck, but it had all the metal tape, ROCOR2 or whatever. And my friend Danny installed it in my 74 Plymouth out in the parking lot. And I was skateboarding, waiting for him to get done. And then my brother had gave me some Jensen 6x9s. And my brother was a construction guy, so he had built some 6x9 boxes and then like polyurethane them, and they sat in my back seat. And then I was jamming back then. And then before that, my mom had bought me a boom box when I turned 16. I got my license.
Come on,
And I
Dad,
rocked the boom box
oh yeah.
until my friend Jack did like a foot plant off my bumper, and I had the boom box on the hood of the car, and it fell over, and it was 25 pounds or 25 pounds, and it hit. And from then on, it didn't work right. The volume was like sporadic, but it was loud.
Yeah, I remember some crazy boom boxes carried them back in the day.
Man,
they used to have like big ones. I mean, it was like, how the hell? There was people walking around like this trying to carry big ass boom boxes on their shoulders. Yeah, it was crazy.
I used to skateboard sometimes and down the road with my boom box, because we have a place down at the beach called the Boardwalk, which was a huge hangout. Tourist ain't nothing like it is today. It sucks now, but now you can't get away with anything. But even before that, I had this little small boom box in the earlier 80s, and me and my friend Mark, we would go in the old A&P and we would unload our batteries, and before we got into the store, and we would load up inside the store. And then we were telling our friends, and then our friends got caught and ruined it for everybody.
Yeah.
Because you'd walk right down the boardwalk, and with all the girls, and there'd be like thousands of people walk. There's a big tourist place. Good times. Good times.
I missed my first car with my Pioneer 3-ways. Hell yeah.
I had some Pioneer 3-ways. They were, I think, 150 watts. They had like in a white. I think mine had square tweeters on them. Rose up. Pretty big magnets.
Shit, I think my first set of 6x9s was a Sparko-Matics that you used to be able to buy from O'Reilly. Remember the orange
with the red,
the orange or red, yeah,
with the little circle holes going around it,
and then the bass booster 50 watt or 50 by 4 or whatever that was, with a little push button. Yeah, wow. I think I
had
had
a Sparkomatic too. I got from my brother. I didn't know how to hook up any of that stuff.
I still have one of the original pull-out decks. You know, remember how the whole deck used to pull out? It used to carry the damn radio around. I still have one sitting over there that's a Sony tape deck. Fucking thing still works perfectly too.
I had a Kenwood like that, and when the CD players for cars came out, I had traded. I think it was called a DP47 Panasonic for it. And I was so mad because that the Panasonic would scratch all the CDs I was borrowing from my friends. No one wanted to loan me any CDs. It wasn't as loud as my Kenwood tape deck pullout.
Yeah, tape deck, yeah.
And I was like, man, that was a raw deal there. But, CDs were new, and I was like, I got to have one. But
buying the old Walkmans and trying to put them on a pillow and put the tape
God, you remember on the little the gooseneck?
Yes.
The little, yes. I remember those guys had them screwed on the sides.
Yeah. Well, we're showing our age there. Shit, we better shut up.
That's some good stuff. And remember the pyramid gooseneck and the Blaupunk?
Boy, yes, the Blaupunk EQ, yes, sir.
If it said pyramid, it was engine noise. Yeah,
pretty much. Blaupunk was still around for a long time, and then they quit making. I think they quit making stereo or like car stereos, and then they tried to make it like 6x9s, and then they just went completely out of business. I think. I don't know. I haven't heard nothing out of them in years. I might be wrong, but I don't know.
Yeah, I'm sure some company in China's bought them and flipped it and put some chrome on it and some lights, and it's like, ooh, that's got to be good because it's shiny.
This is from American.
Yeah. Just like the back in the early 90s, I remember when a lot of the companies would have demo vehicles and they would tour around the United States, or for us, the East Coast, and we'd have Rockford.
Mm-hmm.
We had PPI, we had Soundstream,
PPI, yes.
and God, what was the other one? Polk Audio had a truck one
Mm-hmm.
time, and they came to our shop, and
Skate.
guy hit a button, and the whole bed rose up, but it was on like these springs, and the springs were so loud, like it is crazy.
Yeah.
But Soundstream had a killer van that had 1610s, and that wasn't like loud, but it hit deep, and the install was so awesome and
Yeah.
phenomenal. I mean, it's like if it came out today, it would be like a wow now. That's how they did stuff, seemed like back then.
Well, it's because, we had talked about that, I don't know, probably 2 or 3 shows ago. It's like, it's hard to keep up with the quality. Well, let me rephrase that. The people don't keep up with the quality anymore. It's like, they get it really loud and they're just like, okay, we're done with it. It's like nobody really kind of puts that extra time and effort into making it look pretty anymore. Which, sometimes I understand, because you get some of the vehicles and you're just tearing shit and you're destroying the doors and you're destroying this and you're destroying this. And I can understand after going through 15 or 20 doors why you're tired of making that door look pretty anymore, because you're just going to tear it up. But, I also remember that back when I first started it, your vehicle had to look as good as it sounded or it didn't matter. And that's kind of the way I was always raised. It's like, if it doesn't look as good as it sounds, then who cares? Your vehicle it's not sufficient.
I'm going to tell you guys a true story, and a couple of my friends kid me about it because they were there at the show. It was 91 or 92. I had a Volkswagen Scirocco hatch, which was a hatchback. I had no back seat. I had 412s. The box was so huge it was up to the front, to the back of my seats. But it was loud. It was weird. I had it was just we didn't know back then. At least guys like me, we just tried shit. So I had 2 Rockford. That's back when they had the double stack magnets with the inverted dust cap, paper cones, the punches. Those were ported firing back to the hatch. Then up front behind my head, firing up in a seal box, were 2 XTR Orion 12s, the dual voice coils. At the time, I had 4 punch 45s, and then I got in a car wreck, and then I got money, and then I wanted to do some auto tech, not the Mean Machine stuff. This was way before that time. And I bought a bunch of 7100s, used my 45s for my mids and highs and all that, which were 6x9s and some random speakers and doors. And anyway, some friends of mine talked about painting my car. So they spray canned my car one day, primer, and put black scallops on it. And I remember it was cool for like a few minutes. And then I was like, go ahead and spray the black scallops off. Well, anyway, fast forward, I went to a show in Jacksonville, North Carolina, which was like an hour and a half from me. I had the loudest car out of anybody there, but they wouldn't give me the damn trophy because my car looked like crap. And they had all these beautiful installs. Oh, it was beautiful, but mine looked like the outside and the inside, but it was just loud. I was just like that bass head, and they wouldn't give it to me. And I never, and the guy that was running the meter was a guy that had a shop called Cardio Design. And he was he hated bass. He was a true SQ guy. He had, JL and PPI back then. And I really did not like him from that time on. Because they said, who's got the loudest car? And they said, that guy, that Volkswagen. Oh, we're not giving it to him. And I was like so mad. And my friends will still kid me about that. Remember that time in Jacksonville? You wouldn't because your car looked like crap.
Yeah, looked like shit. Yeah, I've been there. And
then it got to where the ugliest cars are the loudest sometimes, started getting like that. But
I mean, yeah, there's quite a few because I go to a lot of competitions, many different organizations, and there'll be sometimes where the ugliest raggedy piece of shit pulls up there that's like running on one cylinder, blah 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 blah, and he pulls up there and it's the loudest damn car you've heard in a long time, and you're like, what the hell? And then he starts it back up and blah, 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 blah. It goes back over off in the corner somewhere. And it's like, probably even never brings the bitch out until the next year for the competition and does the exact same thing again. It's like, wow.
Do you remember going to shows back years ago? And this is way before the term lab. And people would try to fill you out. And they go, so what are you doing to meter? And you'd hear a guy say, well, last weekend, I did like a 152. You're like, damn, that's pretty loud, And then he gets on there and does like a 140, early 140s.
Yeah.
You're like, okay, buddy, whatever.
But them meters back then, boy, if we'd have known back then what we know now, it'd have been a whole different game changer.
Oh, man.
It really would have. It really honestly would have. But I remember, late 80s, I want to say, going to Bartle Hall and watching the big competitions down here in Missouri and Bartle Hall. I don't know if you ever went to any of them. It was like there was a lot of big people. That's what I actually got to meet Mama Gates and seen the Bronco build down there at Bartle Hall one year. And that thing, it's fun. It's funny, but it's because of her why we're not allowed to do shows there anymore.
Wow, that far back.
Mm-hmm. Well, because it's still Barter Hall is still there, and it's still a huge place, and they do like car shows and all kinds of things like that. And me being a promoter, I try to reach out to them all the time and to see if they let us have car audio shows there, and they refuse to let us have car audio shows there. If the only way that I got them to finally agree to let us have a car show there is if we had to come inside the arena, we had to shut our vehicles off, and their cars could never be started ever. The whole time they were in. But they could play it, and they only had like 30-minute play times, probably like 2 or 3 times all day long, and you only had like a 30-minute window that you could play.
It's like, what the hell? Was like that. They tried to be like that. They always said no demos on the inside. You can't start your car. You got to come in with a quarter tank of gas.
Yeah.
And then we get in there and we just pretty much do what we wanted to do. And then they got it to like one of the last years they had it there. At every hour we could play for 5 minutes. I think it was at every hour. I think it was, or something like that. And everybody just go crazy. I know that whole building was catching it, but
I don't know. I don't see, like in my shows, I don't care. You can demo all day long. You can play all day long, except for Dan Curran. That's just because he wants to be an asshole and point his stunt wall right at my damn stand. And I'm over there trying to talk on a microphone and meter. And he's got his stupid stunt wall turned all the way up. But no, I don't. Truthfully, we don't care. You can play music all day, every day, as long as we don't really give a fuck. As long as you can just be nice and point your stunt wall the other way. I don't care.
The John THF, that meter is a wake-up call. Yes.
It is. Really, honestly.
Is. I remember being at NSPL finals in Charlotte, and I was doing early 60s with my little Nissan with the 1212s. And Alan Dante was there. I always seen him in the magazines with he used to have like a station wagon with a Brazilian flag on it. I seen the guy on magazines, but he was here. And it kind of blew me away when this guy was talking. He looked like me. He was a redheaded white guy. And then he started speaking broken English. Okay, we were using the AC meter up until that time. And Alan said, hey, bring your car over here. There's a new meter coming out, and this is what's going to be from now on. That took me from like an early 60 to like a 55, 56. And I remember going, I don't like this new meter. It just knocked me back about 6 dB.
I feel you. Shit, I remember when I finally got back in the sport again. I want to say it was 2014, 2015 again, after my daughter had finally did everything and got her off to college. Then I kind of really got back into competition again. And I remember, I want to say the first year and a half I had a Town and Country minivan. And I mean, I tell you, I went through probably I don't know how much money I went through and how many different speaker setups just trying to bust that fucking 50. That stupid 50. And it was funny. I remember we had two of the supercharged DD15s in there on the big M4A amps and all kinds of silly shits. Built 15 different boxes.
God, M4As were some beast amps.
Yeah. And I mean, we built all kinds of crazy ass, stupid, retarded builds in that stupid thing. I could not ever get a damn 50 in there. And I got mad and we ripped it all out. And I put this stupid NSV1 that I have over here on in a little stupid burnt box on a 7500. Got my damn 50.
Wow.
After all this stupid shit that I did, and got it on one single 18. I was like, what the fuck?
And then you could have went back in the early 90s and been like all over the place, all over the magazines. Because in the early 90s, I remember people would say that 150 was impossible. Can you believe that? We were doing like 130s in the very early 90s. Because, we didn't know what to play. We just played DJ Magic Mike or some kind of bass music.
Yeah,
whatever the ear told us to do. Like, that sounds loud. It really was a true thing, guys. If it sounded like it was loud in your vehicle, it had to be loud on the meter, even though it wasn't. And you just took that gamble, either $10 a retry or whatever it was to play something else. I remember USAC regionals, it was 94, 95, Columbia, South Carolina. We were all in this line to go through the meter, AC meter. And these people were walking, selling CDs. And I was watching them getting closer to me, and I could hear him. He said $10 a CD. And people were buying it. And the guy says, $10. I'm like, I'm not buying. I already got my CD. He says, no, you got to use this CD. You can buy it now or figure out what you need to play right there at the mic. And I was like, I guess I'll buy it. And I'll try to figure it out a little bit before I get to the mic. Isn't that crazy?
Mm-hmm. No, you're absolutely right, Sam. Look, and now people are doing 150s under 600 watts.
Exactly. And one sub.
Yeah. I remember, hell, what was it? I built a box with 2 or 3 of my buddies over here. I still have the box, and I put it in. We spent like months and months doing body work on this box. I used a 2.5-inch round over on the whole box.
Wow.
So everything had a 2.5-inch round over on it. I mean, I recessed the 2 18s in there. And I mean, it was probably I probably had every bit of 100 hours worth of body work in this box. And then I took it to my son-in-law and had him paint it at his body shop, and he painted it. And I mean, it was the prettiest box that I had seen out there in a very long time. And the box was a fucking flop. It's sitting in my buddy's basement.
Damn.
I still have the damn thing. Well, it's beautiful. It color matched it to the damn vehicle and everything. I mean, it's immaculate box. I'll tell you, we put a lot of time and effort into it. And the problem was we wound up making it a little too big for the subs that we put in there. And I went inside and I shrunk it down. And I mean, I got it to where it worked, and it actually became a very good musical box. But at that point in time, I didn't want music. I wanted numbers.
Yeah.
Numbers. So
it's such an addiction too.
I put it in a buddy's basement, and it still sits over there to this day. And he keeps telling me one of these days I need to go over and get the damn thing out of his basement. But it's just like, some of the things that we did and time and effort we spent into getting loud. And then it didn't work. And we're like, oh, well, throw that shit away. Let's go start all over again. Just if I could have some of that money back. Wow.
Gosh, I would love to have at least a few pieces out of everything that I bought while being in car audio that I sold to buy the newer version and newer version amps I've had that are now classics, which I still have a 1980s, like a later 80s Punch 45. I don't even know if it works. I got to find it one day where the wire is hanging out for the speakers, power, and everything.
I like collecting a bunch of old school car audio. I have a bunch of it sitting over there. A bunch of the old Alpine. Remember the old Alpine where it had the mids, the highs, and the bass, and it all connected together, and it all plugged into the EQ box, and it was like all one big huge system, and it was all made from Alpine. I can't
Gosh,
remember.
I don't
Can't
know if I
remember the
remember that.
exact one, but it's like all one system, and they all plug together like with the old school.
The DIN cables?
Yes, yes, yes. I can't remember the exact brand or model it was, but
They
I
used
still
to
have
have
it.
the
I still have it.
EQs, and you had the brain box, and then you had like the whatever graphic EQ that you'd mount up in the mirror or whatever
Mhm.
like that, or in your dash somewhere.
Yeah,
I
but I
used to
mean,
have
just
old tech manuals from the 80s that when I worked at AliExpress, they were throwing away, and I kept them. And they had all these diagrams with DIN cables and stuff. And then I got tired of hoarding them, and then I threw them away. And now I wish I'd, you know,
yeah.
still have them.
Some of the shit we threw away back then was like, man, if I'd have that right now, I was like, hell, no, I
Um,
wish. I really wish.
there was a guy on Facebook some years back that like dedicated a room to a bunch of old school amps and subs. And it used to be kind of really cool to see some of that stuff.
Yeah.
No, I got no, all those got rid of all those 16 volts. God, I can't remember.
The only person I know that runs AGM still is Dan Current.
I got I sold all those. Gosh, I can't remember to who. I had 80 some caps to I had at one time I had 21 AGMs, Scotty's the XS D1600s.
Mm-hmm.
I had 80 plus Maxwells. I still got some Maxwells. I still have some of Scotty's. I'm just saving those for whatever. I've been wanting to make a battery under the hood of the Blazer, but that's been going on for years. Like them damn door panels, they're 6x9s on my doors. It's just going to sit there and go to waste. But no, I've got like a 300 plus bank of Protos.
Yeah,
Me and Chris Lee both got. He's got 100 more than I got. Uh, we all got the same batch.
yeah. Me and Sam both run excess power. I think he's running the Titans, and I'm running all the LTO caps or whatever you want to call them, the banks. I got 10 banks of them.
The caps with the 3 little prong holes.
No, no, just the yin longs kind of.
Oh, okay, okay.
Yeah, Sam's got 5 Titans and a bank of caps too as well.
Mr. Kevin, how you doing, sir? Um, Mr. Kevin Parker.
Yeah, most definitely, most definitely.
Um,
Let's see if I missed anything here.
I have to send you some pictures of. Did you see the subs that I did, Candy Red? They're dread and cones from Switzerland. I didn't post them on my personal page. I just posted them on my SBC. If you
Yes,
even know what that is.
yes, I know what that is. Actually, I think I did see them. I don't remember. Actually, I think I want to say I see them from somebody else resharing your page somewhere else. As silly
Yeah,
as it sounds, but I think I do remember seeing them.
I did.
Huh.
I did 12 21s last December for Stair Integrity. I did them all the carbon fiber 21s. He had a guy that had a string of movie theaters, and he didn't want to see any shine. So I bought a gallon of it wasn't House of Color. It was I can't remember what it was called, but it's like hot rod black, like a
Mhm.
matte. And I painted them all, dust caps and all like that, and then painted John Earl's subs, the Chameleon, his FIs, and then these ones are this going to be Sundown Compact Neos.
Go back Neos, yeah.
But I don't know.
You got anything else new in the works?
Like, oh,
Any
I
new
got
any new products or any new things that
nah. I'm very boring, I guess. I just right now I got some paint work I've been doing. So um I got some new candies coming. I think I'm after Ruckus I might do a few RCA boxes. I got a guy that wants me to paint some dust caps with some candies. He's got some 21s, would do some logos on them. So I don't know.
my new build's going to be the green and purple that I showed you off of that. So
That's a beautiful purple.
keep that in mind when I hit you up for them cock boxes. I might want one in purple and one in green.
I've got like I have 3 different candy purples and I have a plum, not a plum, but it's a different kind of purple. It's a solid color, but if like you or anybody, you guys have anything you can box up, like a dash piece, like your dash bezel or whatever, I'll paint that son of a bitch.
Okay.
You can box it up and ship it to me and I can ship it back as long as it don't weigh 100 pounds.
I have to keep that in mind because, like I said, I'm completely rebuilding my Tahoe. I gutted it. I mean, when I say I gutted it, there's nothing left but the 2 driver's seats at the front
What
dash.
year is it?
'07.
Wow. So you got the big dash with the double din.
Yeah, with the big
I
double
know what
din.
you got. Yeah. Now, did you do the bypass on the motor with the 8-cylinder to, was it go down to 6 or 4? Does
No,
yours not have that? You said
no,
yours is a 07?
mine was a police chief's or a fire marshal's.
Okay, so you got lucky.
Yeah,
You
and
got
it was never kicked down, and obviously it was taken pretty well care of because it was a fire marshal's, and I think when I got it from them, it only had 132, 140,000 miles on it, so it doesn't even have very many miles on it.
Has it got the 5.3 or
5.3, yes sir.
man, that is a great motor. It might have a little tick when you first start up sometimes
And
because of oil pressure, but that's a great motor. 327.
yeah, the bitch runs like, I mean, it purrs like a kitten down the road. I remember when I first bought it from them, I drove it. I live in Kansas, and I drove it to Scraping the Coast, which is probably a 13-hour drive for me. I just drove it straight there. Never even worried about it, not one bit. It may not have been the most comfortablest ride in the world, but it purred like a kitten all the way there. My wife called me 2 or 3 times and was like, "Hey, why the hell are you driving so fast?" I'm like, "What are you talking about? I'm doing 80." She was like, "No, you're not. You're doing 90." I didn't realize because they had put big old aftermarket wheels on there, and it fucked up the speedometer. And I'm doing 90 mile an hour driving down the damn road, thinking I'm doing only probably 75, 80. Nope, I'm just flying down the damn road.
You're sitting straight up too, right? Because the wall.
No. It's got a little bit of a lean back. It wasn't like perfect, but it had a little bit of a lean back. But that's one of my main goals this time. When I built my Nitro, I kind of copied Drew's design in his Nitro, but I pushed mine back probably about 6.5 inches. And that was the difference in night and day because I could literally take my seat and recline my seat and sit in mine comfortably. But when I built it, mine was a, "Hey, you shut up, Sam. I am not, fucker."
Damn it.
5'7". No, but when I built the Nitro, it was my daily driver. And when I mean daily driver, I daily drove that thing back and forth to work with a flat wall in it with 415s for 3.5 years.
Oh, I know exactly what it's like.
And plus, I literally drove it to every show, drove it to everywhere I went. That thing was a daily driver. And hell, probably the last 3 years of me having it, I did it with C-Max batteries in it. And when C-Max first came out and everybody was scared of them, shit, I put them damn things in there.
Man, it's amazing how many batteries a lot of us ran. I mean, you had like Steve up in Ohio or Indiana. God, what Steve Mick? He had like 30, almost 40 batteries in that van. I could only fit 21, and it still wasn't enough. and then with caps.
I
And then
had
here I have this little bitty bank of uh, lithiums that just destroys all that weight. It's just at first it was just really hard to believe until I actually had it to see it.
when I first built
You
that
know?
nitro, it had 10 AGMs in there. The North Star AGMs. The pretty decent
Oh
size.
God,
I had
yeah,
10 of them in there. And then I pulled
NSB90s.
I pulled all them out of there and I put in 385 amp hour of lithium C-Max. Night and day different. It was like I could take all them lithium C-Max, put them together, and I think it might have weighed as much as two of them two of the North Star batteries. And it was
You
just
know,
night and day difference.
when I first got the truck, I did some trade out work for a friend of mine's brother. He has a mechanic shop, and I said, "Man, I need something like an airbag." And he said, "Get something that looks like a Coke can. That's the ones you need." Well, they're 2,000 pounds, and back then, I started out with when I got that Blazer with just, I think it was like 6 or 7 AGMs, and the 18s wasn't that much weight. It was fine. When I got the 1212s and started getting more batteries and the more weight, those 2,000-pound airbags, they're still on there and they still work. One of them leaks bad, but anyway, it's just amazing the difference when I took out all those batteries and when I put that 250-pound bank of lithium in there, even with them no air in them, it still sits normal.
Mm-hmm. So like,
I remember getting the death wobble going to shows a lot when the back squatted so bad because it weighed so much in the front end. I had to get the front end lowered so it would ride good. And
yeah.
then when I got the lithiums, I had the front end raised back up to match the back because it was jacked up in the back.
And then you look like one of them Carolina boys.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. With my Instagram thing sticker on the back or whatever.
Yeah.
Gosh.
Yeah. Airbag helpers for your Explorer, Sam. They have so many companies out there that are good at that. Or Sam Dunn, you could reach out to GP. I know GP has they have the coilovers and the extra leaf kits and stuff like that that are made for heavy duty vehicles like yours. Like they take the coilovers and make really heavy duty coilover springs or heavy duty leaf springs and all that stuff like that. They the Sunday or GP actually has the really good ones to replace all them.
Also, for some reason, all the really high end or the 5,000-pound airbags, for some reason, they'll fit Tahoe's, but they won't fit my truck for some reason on their thing. But Air Ride makes a load lifter 5,000, and it actually has a bump stop inside the bag. So if it runs out of air, it won't totally collapse and you won't bottom out.
Man,
I wish they'd make them for my truck, but I don't need them anymore. But back in the day, because mine would bottom out if I forget to air them up before I leave. Especially going 70 or 80 down the road and hitting that.
When I had the 10 fucking AGMs in the back of the Nitro, it was squatting and it was real bad. So a buddy of mine talked me into pulling out the bump stops and putting them fucking airbags inside the coils and things like that and doing all that. I rode around for the first week happy as hell. My ass end set up right and everything was good. And all of a sudden I heard a pop. Then the ass end leaned like this, and then I heard another pop. Man. So I literally, like within maybe a week and a half, 2 weeks, popped both airbags. And because of the way them airbags were, you had to take the bump stops out to put them airbags in.
Oh, Jesus.
So after I popped both of them, I'm hitting metal to metal. Like back in the old days, the old low riders. I mean, it was literally bam, 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 bam. And it's like, oh, son of a bitch, you mother. Mm-hmm. It just reminded me of the old school shit where you beat the hell out of you. When you said bump stops, that's what just kind of made me remind me of that. It was like, oh, I remember taking them out like a dumbass. So that was actually pretty cool that somebody actually came up with the design to keep the bump stops in there. That's cool.
Yes, I still have Sam. I still got those same alts that Mike built me. I've never had a problem, knock on wood. I actually talked to Mike before what was it, CS? Not CS, SEMA. And I'm glad you said something because I got to call him back to send my 370s in
Have them
and
rebuilt.
have them for like 290 so I don't have to rev my truck anymore. I mean, if I full tilt it, I definitely need to have the truck revved up.
Right.
But it doesn't drop much. But when it's for some reason, ever since my truck's been jumping into gear a lot on full, the last couple times I full tilted it. So
Ooh.
when I went to NSPL finals, Chris Lee gave me some of his wheel chocks, and I was holding the shifter stand outside the truck, and the truck would still kind of nudge at times like it. So I went to Walmart and actually had some, so I got some for my truck. But I demoed back in July at a new shop in town, and I was like, shit, this is like 10 minutes from my house. And they wanted to hear my truck, so they got one of the girls in there, and I was standing out the door, and next thing I know, the thing took off and went maybe about 6 feet, and I like ran inside and slammed it in the gear, and I was like shaking. It was kind of funny, but not. But that's what
Not
it's doing.
really. Yeah.
I think because this is my third steering column, and I got one that doesn't have tilt, and the tilt, those bolts down in there always break, or they don't. Well, yeah.
Yeah, they break.
And I think now that it's sitting there flapping it more, I don't know, dude. I think the truck's just been through so many years of abuse that it's just it's trying to tell me something.
Yeah.
David
All we need
Jenkins.
is a little freshening up.
I need a new 2-door. My neighbor, literally 2 houses over, has one. It's blue, same year as mine. And years ago, he put tires, a lift on it, and the motor blew up. And it's been sitting in that same spot probably for the last over 5 years.
She's just go knock on the door and tell him you want it.
And he'll want too much. And I'll
Even
get
after sitting for 5 years?
Huh?
Even after sitting for 5 years?
Probably. Yeah, because they had a Subaru I was going to buy for my daughter years ago, old Justy station wagon. They went way too much for it. I was like, okay.
It's one of them people, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah, I couldn't bring another project in this house until I finished some. My wife would kill me.
Yeah, me too. I don't need to spend that. Even though you think, well, I got everything, all I got to do is just move it over. No, it's not like that.
It's like me. I went, damn, it's been almost 2 years now. I bought a golf cart, bought brand new batteries for the golf cart. I have I'd say good 85% of the stereo equipment that I want to put on it and everything that I want for it. And I said I was going to get the golf cart and put it all together so we could have it for the big shows like Scraping the Coast and Slamology and all that stuff, so we don't have to walk around. And it's still sitting out in my backyard with the batteries up in my my walk-in the house. And my wife's always, when you gonna get this damn thing done? Get it out of my front room. It's like, all right, sorry.
Yeah, golf cart be pimped to have drive around.
Yeah, it really would be. I know. I keep telling myself I need to get it done, need to get it done, but it's like, damn it. I gotta go do this. I gotta go do this. I gotta go do this. It's like, shit. I'm gonna just quit procrastinating and just get it done.
Yeah,
So.
I'm pretty bad at procrastinating.
Me too, lately. It seems to be, but in the same sense, I call it procrastination, but when you work constantly and you never have any days off, your day off, you want to just do nothing. I don't want to go out there and work on somebody else's audio. I don't want to come home and work on my house. I don't want to work on the golf cart. I just want to go sit down and drink a beer and enjoy life and do nothing for a while. Just leave me alone.
Yeah, I totally understand it. I mean, I remember when I worked at a shop, I'd always have side work, cars, and then it'd be late at night, and I come in the house. I was doing everything out in the driveway at the time, but I was making a lot of good money. But did that for years, and it didn't bother me. I'd even cash in my my what do you call it when you work at a place? I can't think of what it's called right now. Vacation.
401k or
I
vacation.
used to cash in my vacation when I was younger because I was like, I don't need a vacation. I'm good. I'm going to work through it and keep that money.
Yeah.
And then it got to a while, I was like, I need some time off because this is all I do. But it's still all I do. But,
Yeah,
it's
even the days I take off, it's like, oh, I'm still doing this or I'm still doing that. And it's like, damn, can I just ever? Because the wife and I were talking about it the other day, and it's minus last weekend. Last weekend was probably the first weekend in probably 4.5, 5 months that we had off and not really had much to do. But we had a big team barbecue last weekend. So we really didn't just get to do nothing, because we still had a team barbecue to go to and we had people at the house. But that it was kind of a more enjoyable weekend, but it wasn't a weekend to just sit back and relax. It's like, I don't even know what that's like anymore. I just honestly don't know what that's like anymore. And then now we got a baby too. So
going to Daytona was, we had a friend was on our team, Rob Webster, and he had a house in Daytona. And JP would come there, and it was like a thing every year. There would be a group of us that we would go and party at Rob's house, and everybody chip in money, and Rob would get steak, lobster. He'd have all the alcohol, and I'm not a big drinker anymore, but that one time a year,
right.
At his house, and it was so nice to be around people and kind of party and not work, because all I do is I'm in my shop working, and then go down the road to get something, come back. I don't really.
Yeah. Same thing. It's like, it's about all I do anymore is I go to work, I come home, I do base wars, I come home, I might get a little bit of time with the grandbaby. Maybe once a month I might get to actually go sit down and have dinner with the wife without nobody else with us or around, and it's just like, man, I'm damn near 50 years old. I want to sit and relax a little bit. I'm old, damn it.
Shit, I'll trade places with you.
What's that?
I'll trade places with you on age.
You ain't that old. Oh, hell. Well, I mean, I don't want to keep you on here any longer than I already have. Shit, it's already 9 o'clock. Wow. That's amazing.
To me, it kind of flew by, man.
It really did, honestly. And I definitely, more than you realize, appreciate you coming on. And, if any of you guys need an awesome product, definitely reach out to Scott. He's a man that I definitely 100% stand behind. His product is amazing, and you can never go wrong. I can tell you the whole time that I've used anything of his, I've never had an issue. I've never had to call him back or send it back to him or any issue like that. I've never had a problem at all. And I 100% stand behind that man and his product. So
let me grab something real quick.
Yeah, go ahead. Absolutely. Absolutely. But no, I mean, seriously, guys, and I don't say that a lot about a lot of people, but I truly 100% stand behind that man and his product. Very, very badass products. And, very reasonable prices too. Very reasonable prices. I mean, granted, you're not going to get it for free, obviously, but it's worth every penny you pay for it. I promise you that.
This is a detachable radio pod I built, and this is his F-bomb. There's red plexiglass. I got LEDs that light up whenever he turns the radio on.
Oh, that's
so this is gold flake with candy apple red with the team logo.
Oh, wow.
And then my logo.
Of course, absolutely.
And then got a voltmeter. The hell is that? Bass knob. Got a little skull, crossbones, turn your amps on.
That's badass.
And got a skid plate So you can, because it's on a podium, so it locks on. It only slides on one way and it locks in. It don't go nowhere. You push a button and pull it towards you and it pops off. So you can hold it or have it on the podium.
It's badass.
Pretty neat.
How much something like that cost?
It was a lot. I'm not going to scare people. It was a lot.
Right.
It was
that's what I was telling him a minute ago. You might not be the cheapest person out there, but you're worth every penny that you pay for.
No, but, it's like I have nothing to go off of. I just always, when I do something, it's something that I just do.
It's one off in your brain and you just do it.
Yeah. I mean,
it's amazing.
When I was doing the, I'll put this thing on the floor real quick. I thought, well, I was going to do some wood, maybe some plexiglass and do like an arch. And I used to see some of the old school guys back in the 90s, early 2000s. And that's what they kind of did. And they had like big fiberglass pods because that was the big thing back then. And I didn't want to do that. So I decided I'm going to make something out of steel and do a lightning bolt, like whatever.
Right.
And then, the way I did the base and all that for it, that it all sits on, but I don't know.
It's cool. I don't care. It's cool. Definitely.
There's plenty of more talented people than I. There's guys out there just like, wow. I wish I had the knowledge now and I could go back to the 90s with what I know now. Because I was so motivated back then.
We all
you do stuff when you're new to something and you're really into it, like working to 3, 4 in the morning, or till the sun rises, and it was all for the greater good of car audio. And now it's like I'm not working that late. Very rarely I'll work that late.
Before finals, you tear your whole car apart and you redo everything in there just because you think you can get it just a tad bit louder. No, not no more. It is what it is. It's just going to have to sit. That's awesome. Well,
thank you, Mr. John Earl. Thank you, Mr. Chris Taylor. Good talking to you, Sam Dunn.
Definitely, we appreciate all you guys that has hung out there and stuck with us tonight. And probably wasn't the most exciting show. I'm kind of a little on the boring side tonight. I'm a little on the stuffy side tonight. My sinuses are kicking my butt.
Shit, let me get some of this peach moonshine that me and my wife drink sometimes. Be slurring words, throwing shit. No, I'm just kidding.
Oh, hell, that's a normal Monday night for everybody with Jimmy.
Yeah.
Nah, but no, definitely. It really sucks that I can't make it to Ruckus this year. I really, really wanted to go, but just new job, can't afford the extra expenses right now, and it is what it is. But I definitely will be there next year. But hopefully, me and you will bump heads before Ruckus next year. I want to see you, and just kind of see that vehicle. That vehicle has always been one I've wanted to kind of listen to or see. It never works out, but it'll happen, I'm sure.
Just don't listen to anything loud until you get into it. Then you can go somewhere else. I can try to impress you.
Whatever, man. Whatever. See, it's got followers. It's Rockford build. Wow. That's old.
That is old. That was I finished that particular Rockford build. I was sponsored by Rockford in 2002. And then 2004, I got sponsored by Memphis. We both had both those. I had two competition cars, Super Street 1 and 2, and then my daily driver, which was a blue Nissan that weighed 4,000 pounds, and just a 2-seater. Yeah, it's out in a junkyard somewhere. Wow. With the box, the door panels, kick panels, part of the dash.
Somebody probably took it out.
I couldn't get the hatch open when the guy took it away, so there's still a Rockford changer in there. Somebody broke the back window to get it out, if they even knew what it is.
It's crazy. That's crazy. Used to be your profile picture for the longest time. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, they
Yeah,
did.
that one's in it's in a Haynes manual, and it was in which I have. I had some kid that used to come to the shop. You're in a book, man. You're in a book. And I'm like, whatever. And he brought it. And back years ago, Haynes Manual used to have like repair guides and like in-car, it was called in-car entertainment. It was how to do car stereo, basic car stereo. Well, they went to Daytona the first year I went with the blue car, and that was 2003. And that's back when people asked you, can I take a picture of your car? Do you mind if I take a picture? I'm like, hell no. Now people don't ask, they just do it. But I was like, hell no. And then there's a picture of the wall. And then like the next page, I was talking to one of the extreme guys had not Crossfire. It was, I think it was Crossfire
It could
and
be
back
Crossfire.
And I had back then I had these big long sideburns. And I don't know what shirt I was wearing. I think it was one of my old Directed DI t-shirts, Viper Alarm t-shirts. I was like, holy shit. And then I was in a fiberglassing catalog, which I have too, Select Products, which is kind of like the Mobile Solutions back in that day. They were and I got a little spread, and then I did some stuff in mini trucking, and I did some stuff for some local guys that took the credit for myself. So I don't talk to those guys. I hadn't talked to them in a long time. So they got into like Lowrider magazine and took what I did for themselves. But it's just how it is, I guess. But
yeah, that sucks.
Good times. But yeah, Nissan was a long time ago, man. That I spent so many months on that car, working at a shop, going home and working on it out in the driveway, and just trying to come up with ideas. I had 1212s in the Nissan Sentra, I had 12 BD 1500s. I had 7 Rockford batteries. I had a Wrangler alternator. They used to make the alternators for Phoenix Gold. Same alternator, just you paid more for the badge on it. It said Phoenix Gold. It was Northwest Regulators out in Portland, Oregon. I don't even know if they're still in business. We didn't have all the stuff that the luxuries with Mike and JS and all these other guys that do stuff. You didn't have a site. You just like, will it fit my car? Is it a big case GM? I don't need that. No, it'll fit. Bolt right on. You get it. It's a big case GM, like a CS130 or whatever it is. I used to call them the heat boxes. They had no ventilation. They were just,
big
alternators. Like a 200 amp alternator, and that was like big deal back in the day on a little 4-cylinder.
Right.
They got 8 miles to a gallon, whatever. But for the time, it was loud. It looked good, and that was the last thing nice I did for myself. Stressed me the hell out. Now I got the Blazer, and it looks like it looks.
It happens. It definitely happens.
Yeah. I need like a team of guys to take it and bring it back, and I'd be like, oh, like pimp my ride, but not pimp my ride. Come back with a chandelier in it. And that's it. Yeah, Phoenix Gold.
I've seen I've seen a buddy of mine that still has one of the Phoenix Gold alternators that's still brand new in a box and never been used.
Wow.
Yeah. So I've seen some cool old school shit like that that's still around.
Streetwires used to make alternators too back in the day, and I believe they had dual positive studs. I can't remember. A friend of mine had one, and it was a Zuzu lowrider. But I remember it had 2 studs. I can't remember if one was a power and ground or they were both powers. That was like mid-90s.
Yeah, absolutely. All righty, well, I think we're going to get out of here, sir. I definitely appreciate you more than you realize coming on and hanging out with me tonight.
Thank you for having me.
Maybe we'll do this again in the near future, and maybe we'll have Billy on here to make it a little bit more exciting for them guys. And I'm sure he'll have a bunch more questions to ask you. And he likes to talk all the old school car audio stuff as well too. So.
And who's this?
Billy Temple.
Okay.
Yeah. So I really honestly think we'd all have a pretty good conversation to be able to sit back and relax, and it's just kind of a nice relaxing show for once.
Maybe have a few strippers in the background doing
Well,
tricks.
hey, a couple of strippers, a couple of cases of beer. Hey, we'll do what we got to do.
Yeah, we can get some beer.
Most definitely, most definitely. All right, guys, thank you all for watching us. Definitely
All right,
appreciate
everybody.
you, and definitely appreciate Scott for coming on. Make sure you guys go check him out. Check out his website.
SBC Cockbox on Facebook or something like that. SBC Cockbox. What a name. Thank you, Jason Myers. It was not supposed to be that, but that's what it is now.
That's another story for another time.
Yeah. True story. Daytona Beach.
Absolutely. Absolutely. All right, guys. Thank you guys very, very much. I'm going to roll this ending video here. Y'all have a great night and come check us out next Monday night. Peace.